Today's science keyword is photosynthesis. This is a long, complicated science word and is often used as an example for long, complicated science words. We can define photosynthesis as a process used by plants and some other microorganisms to make their own food using sunlight. We can break down the word photosynthesis into two key parts, which I think really helps us define exactly what photosynthesis means. The first part, photo, we see in lots of other English words, like photograph or photosensitive, or photon, which is a light particle, or photoreceptors in our eyes. That's because the word photo really means light. Synthesis, we can also think of as synthetic. We see synthetic fabrics in our clothes, or man-made materials are often called synthetic. Synthetic means that it has been made, so we can think of synthesis as making stuff. So the word itself breaks down to making stuff with light. Now, what exactly is the plant going to be making? Well, it's got to make everything that it can to be able to live, grow, and survive. The basic equation for photosynthesis is important for us to remember at GCSE. The word equation is carbon dioxide, which the plant gets from the air, water, which the plant will absorb through roots in the ground, will turn into glucose, which is a form of sugar, and oxygen. We often think about plants giving out oxygen. In symbol form, it's a little bit more complicated. Carbon dioxide has the chemical formula CO2, water has H2O, glucose is a little bit more of a complicated molecule with the formula C6H12O6, and oxygen goes around in pairs as O2. Remember, chemical equations should be balanced. Photosynthesis equation is actually quite nice to balance because you remember it's an absolute devil. 666, number of the beast. Something that's missing from this is what we talked about at the start, that photosynthesis uses light, and in them over the arrow we can put light because light is required for this equation. How exactly does the plant get that sunlight? Well, it gets it through its leaves and other green surfaces using a magical chemical called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll absorbs sunlight. If we look at a plant cell, we can see there's many different parts within it. There's the cell wall, which gives structural support to the cell. Cell membrane, which allows substances to move in and out. The cytoplasm, where most of the chemical reactions in the cell take place. The permanent vacuole, which contains a substance called cell sap. Ribosomes, which make enzymes and other proteins. The nucleus, which contains the genetic information in the cell and controls all of its activities. And mitochondria, which perform respiration to allow the cell to have energy. However, the part of the cell which is important for photosynthesis is the chloroplast, and it's given away by its characteristic green colour. So if a plant absorbs light through photosynthesis, why is chlorophyll, the chloroplast, and plants green? Well, that's because white light contains every single colour of the rainbow, and the chlorophyll absorbs all of the different colours apart from green. The absorption of green is actually very low. That means that green light is reflected, and that's why the plants are seen as green. Photosynthesis is very important because it enables those plants and other microorganisms to harness that sunlight's energy to grow into new plant and microorganisms, which could then be eaten by other animals or directly by us as humans. So we owe photosynthesis for our own existence. This means that photosynthesis is what we call an endothermic process. That's because it takes in energy in the form of sunlight to occur. So, photosynthesis then, an important process by plants and other microorganisms to make their own food. And it does this using sunlight.